Hooray, I'm inspired with confidence in this great president. Help the Obamas stand up for working America. Look at all those white teeth. 4 sets of white teeth. Obama, Biden, join our campaign. Paid for by Obama for America. I feel so confident that this man, pictured with these 3 women in his family, is committed to standing up for working Americans. He wants to help us, and he needs us to help him help us. And I want so much to join his campaign and help him help me, 'cause I know that's what he wants so much, is to help me. And I can tell by his white teeth and the white teeth of his wife and the white teeth of his 2 daughters inspire me with confidence that the main purpose of this man is to stand up for working Americans, to stand up for me. And gosh, if I help him and help join his campaign, it will only repay me many times whatever I invest. It's an investment in myself. Investing in this man is an investment in myself. I'm inspired with confidence by this photograph of this smiling family. It makes me think of other advertisements, like modeling advertisements. This is what this photograph actually reminds me of, is photographic models. People who pose for underwear ads or business suit ads or dress ads. It's a posed photograph taken by a professional photograph who's probably a flaming homosexual. And show your teeth, and these people showing their teeth that probably spend thousands of dollars each year making sure they're as absolutely perfectly straight and perfectly white as possible. And I'm supposed to feel this great confidence because of the color of the skin of these people. It's supposed to make me think, hooray, rah rah, racial equality in the United States of America, the land of the free, the greatest nation on earth. That's what I'm supposed to be inspired to think, but the only thing I'm inspired to think from this sort of photograph is it reminds me of underwear ad. I think of underwear ad. I think of 30, 40 years ago when they started introducing more and more black people as models in commercials and in advertising photographs as an integration move and affirmative action. So aren't we great now? Aren't we the most wonderful, accepting, tolerant, non-racist people in the world, that we can look at black faces and not cringe? We can look at black faces and be sold merchandise. That makes us the most wonderful nation, or the most wonderful, loving, tolerant, accepting people in the whole planet, because we can look at these black faces and not cringe. Not cringe over the fact that they're black. But I find myself cringing. I find myself cringing over the implied racism of the supposed non-racism or anti-racism of deliberately of this affirmative act. I view the Obama administration as a case of affirmative action, not really to be distinguished from all the black smiling faces that you would see on television commercials beginning for the most part in the 70s. In the mid-1970s is when they started to kind of mandate that each commercial had to have at least one black face in it. And so they would hire more black models to perform or pose in these commercials. And that was supposed to be a great, wonderful, positive thing that our society was doing to integrate black people into the mainstream. And all I see here on this photograph: help the Obamas, stand up for working Americans, join our campaign, blah blah blah. Look at these big white smiles. These big white smiles, to me, are identical to the big white smiles on the photographic models and commercial actors that were given more employment opportunities by quota in the early to mid 1970s. That's what it did, is it gave, by a specified quota, there had to be at least one black face in each commercial. It gave employment to a certain number of mostly probably flaming homosexual black people posing as photographic models and commercial actors. That's all. And the amount of confidence that that's supposed to inspire in me is apparently a bit more than the amount of confidence that it actually does manage to inspire in me. As far as I can tell, this guy is just a chocolate version of what we would be handed by the Democratic Party anyhow. Just a chocolate Clinton. That's a good name for them. Let's call him Chocolate Clinton. I want to buy your underwear so much, Mr. African American. Ooh. The funny thing is that Obama is one of the few people who actually legitimately qualifies to be called an African American, where one of his parents was American and one of his parents was an African. I don't believe his wife is an African American. I believe she's a black American, but I don't think she's an African. I don't think she was born in Africa. I don't think her parents were born in Africa. Her ancestors were probably not born in Africa for longer back than my ancestors were born in the United States. I think that Michelle Obama's black ancestors have been American a lot longer than my ancestors have been American. And why she should be called an African, but I'm not called a Lithuanian or a European. I'm not called a European American. I'm not called a Lithuanian American. But my ancestors were in Lithuania when her ancestors were in America. Whereas her husband's ancestors actually were in Africa, so he's an African American. I won't object to people calling Obama an African American president, because he in fact is an African American president. But that doesn't mean that every black American is an African American.